one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we just have a couple of announcements to make here. We have Jim Dean, the Superintendent of Highways, was chosen by the New York State Association of Town Superintendents of Highways as the recipient of the 2020 Honorary Life Membership Award. Jim, you're here. This award is given to individuals who have distinguished themselves by commendable service to their community, continuance of the association's mission, and who exhibit excellence in service, personal reputation, and career achievements that have positively impacted the furtherance of local infrastructure. Jim, you want to come up and say something?
Thank you.
Yep.
Well said, well said.
No, thank you. Okay. The next one is just a reminder that on October 17th, from 8 a.m. to noon, we're going to have the drive-through shredding event. Just remember to bring some non-perishable food, as it's a donation to people. And then last is the community choice aggregation. I don't know who's been following this. This was the program that's run through NYSERDA, where municipalities join together and get the benefit of cheaper pricing for fuel, because there's a community of towns and villages. So it's actually 4 villages and 2 towns, us and Clarkstown, that all went out to bid for energy prices. Unfortunately, due to the kind of the time we're in, as it was described, we're in a fluky time. Normally, the goal is that the pricing comes in and that the 100% renewable is close enough in pricing to the standard that it makes it easy for the municipality to default its residents into that program. Due to just the pricing, the prices came back a little bit more significant than we had hoped. So, after considering it, the town of Orangetown, it's my recommendation that we use the default, because what will happen is anyone who's not in a plan already will get defaulted into this plan, is to default into the standard plan. People then can opt up into the renewable energy plan if they want, but there is a significant, again, in the middle of a pandemic and people are struggling, I couldn't see defaulting them into a more expensive plan. So we're the only one that decided that. Everybody else went with defaulting into the renewable energy. I couldn't see doing that. So there will be letters going out. Again, if you're already in an ESCO or already in a private plan, you're not going to get the letter. But if you are not, you're going to get a letter, and you will be either defaulted or you can opt out. And kind of the beauty of this plan is that you can opt out at any time. There's no cancellation fees. So just wanted to give an update because it was a little bit stressful there. We thought we were going to be able to offer the 100% renewable energy, and it was just a little bit out of our price range for default purposes. So there is going to be a presentation, Allison. There's a couple of them, right, on this, on just how it works?
Yes, there's one tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
And I have the flyers right outside.
Okay, so if you want to, follow up with the administrator of it and have your specific questions, there are going to be a couple of Zoom meetings that you can attend and get the details and ask questions. So we're going to go to the presentations. We're going to jump over the budget. We're going to go to the Nyack Performing Arts Festival presentation. So if they want to come up and give the presentation, that would be great.
That's good. Hi, my name is Elise Stone. I'm the artistic director for Phoenix Theater Ensemble. We are an award-winning professional theater company in New York City and Rockland County. And I'm going to hand things over to Craig Smith, who's our general manager. We've been in existence this is our 17th season. I know we have short time, so.
Hi, we promised Allison that we would keep this to 10 minutes, so we will move speedily ahead. Thank you so much, Supervisor Kenny, for inviting us here today. We moved to Nyack 3 years ago. We're theater people, and we wanted to do a theater festival. And we think we can help the community. Here, Rockland County had the highest per capita rate of COVID infection of any county in the entire country in March of 2020. And Roger Cohen reached out to us, the president of the Nyack Chamber of Commerce, and he said, one cannot underestimate the damage done to Nyack and Rockland County by COVID-19, resulting in business closures, some now permanent. We see the restoration of arts activities as a vital component to recovery, both economically and psychologically, to our community. We think this is important, and we wanted to try to do something. And let me see if I can advance this now. Yeah, so we are planning on the Phoenix Theater Ensemble Nyack Performing Arts Festival, which will take place. Oh, first of all, about us. We're an award-winning theater company in New York and now in Nyack. We've won the Elliott Norton Award, the Adelco Award, 2 Irene Awards, 8 NYIT Award nominations, and 3 NYIT Awards. We're planning a Phoenix Theater Ensemble Arts Festival in October of 2021. We were going to do it in 2020, but COVID stopped that. And it's going to be an outdoor festival. And we're planning to have this at Marydale Center in Upper Nyack, and then also performances at the Hopper House in downtown Nyack, and a program that is happening right in the middle of downtown Nyack. And this just says where we're going to be doing all this. One of the first things we're doing, we're very excited about, we're talking with Bill Batson, and we're going to have a walking tour of Nyack. So ticket buyers and people who want to take part are going to get an MP3 file, and there's going to be a narrative about the historical significance of things that happened in Nyack. They're going to walk and go to places such as Memorial Park, the Toni Morrison bench, and there's going to be an actor there, and they're going to interact with the audience. This is all going to be before the performances. We hope to be able to introduce the audience into Nyack, what's going on in Nyack, and be able to interact with actors at places throughout the community. At Marydale, we're going to have the Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth. We feel we needed a play that really uplifted the human spirit, and this is a play that does that. It's a play about a family that overcomes insurmountable challenges, and they survive and they triumph. It's funny. It's got mammoths, it's got dinosaurs, it's got the Ice Age, it's got a brass band. It's going to be fun. And it's a very moving play about the human spirit and how it triumphs. At the same time, we're going to have Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest at the Edward Hopper House Garden. And that also is a great comedy. And I think what we want is something that is really going to instill a sense of inspiration and hope in the community. And we are going to have performances by the Rockland Symphony Orchestra. This is a 50-piece orchestra. They're going to be at Marydale. They're going to have at least 2 performances. They're very excited about this, and we're working with them. We're happy. We are very much about collaboration, and we wanted to collaborate with other nonprofits, arts organizations in the community. So they're going to be taking part in this festival as well. And the Children's Shakespeare Theater of Nyack. If you have not been to the Children's Shakespeare Theater, please go. This is a remarkable institution. It's something that Nyack and Rockland should be very proud of. They do really professional work. They've been doing it for 20 years. We want to give them more visibility, and they are also going to be doing performances at this festival. Audience projections, we think we will have 1,800 to 2,000 people who will come into Nyack to see this. We have designed this so they can come on a Friday night and see The Skin of Our Teeth. If they want to, they'll stay overnight, and Saturday they'll see The Importance of Being Earnest or the Rockland Symphony. So we're really trying to get people here into the community to take part, go to the restaurants, go to the shops, go to the hotels. And we have an audience from New York City that we have already been successful at bringing into Nyack and bringing into Rockland, and we will just expand that. We want to assist the local economy and the sense of well-being in the community. We took a survey of our audience of the programs that we did in Nyack in 2018 and 2019. 47% of them were from outside of Rockland, so we've already proven we can bring people in. 72% said that they were going to dine or shop in Nyack after the performance, and 92% said that performing arts are important to their quality of life. We'll be selling tickets and subscriptions that will be packages with local restaurants, local hotels, and Rockland B&Bs. Performances will end at times so audiences can come into Nyack and the surrounding communities and take part in the nightlife, which is lively in Nyack. What is needed? We have a New York City Board of Trustees. They have promised to put up $75,000 towards this festival. They said it was incumbent upon me to raise an equal amount of $75,000, and we are working on it, and we have been working on it. We have a meeting tomorrow with Citizens Bank, who is looking to expand in Rockland area, and we're hoping that we can convince them to become a sponsor. Next week, we have a meeting with Amazon, which is opening a facility in Rockland, and we hope that we can convince them to be a good neighbor and do something that's important to the community and become a sponsor of this festival. I would like to ask the board here to provide us with a letter of support for the festival. That's very helpful with our fundraising activities. On top of that, if anybody has any recommendations of any company or organization, I know things are tough right now, they're really tough, but this is such an important time of investment for the community, for us to recover from the pandemic. If you have any suggestions or recommendations of any individuals who are interested in the arts and interested in the community, any companies that are interested in the arts and interested in the community, let me know. I will follow up. I'm very persistent. And that is basically it. And I want to thank you so much for doing this. And the last one is just join the collaboration. Please join us. We are in Nyack. We moved here. We're in our third year here. We love this community, and we want to help.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping to the time limit. So if anybody is interested in making connection, you can certainly reach out to my office. We'll connect you to.
I'm going to hand out some business cards.
Sure. That's.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know, that's the problem, right? That is the problem.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so the next topic is basically a presentation of my tentative budget. So the board is being provided with a copy of the supervisor's budget, and I'm just going to make a couple of comments. As expected, it was a very challenging budget year. In addition to the COVID-related revenue losses that we expected, New York State has increased the town's pension contributions by over $1.1 million over last year, and cut both AIM and CHIPS aid by $180,000. Basically, on the revenue, we budgeted conservatively based upon reduced sales tax revenue. We reduced it by $200,000. Over last year, we was 1.8. We reduced it to 1.6, and we reduced the filming revenue by $50,000, and justice court fees by $200,000. So it's basically, on the revenue, we're taking a bit of a hit. In addition, interest rates expected to stay basically at zero. We are expected to be down by $500,000 in interest income. So therefore, to keep the budget under the tax cap, which this budget does, by $85,000, some tough decisions had to be made. I am proposing increasing some fees, notably the fire inspection fees and parking meter fees, and some of the Parks and Rec programs becoming self-sufficient, or at least as close as they can. I allocated more fund balance that I certainly wanted after we had the auditors in here, but I allocated the use of $2 million in reserves to keep it under the tax cap. I did make some cuts to some programs which are valuable. I cut the Candle and Dare programs, but importantly, I maintained the school resource officer and youth court. I think in part it was because with COVID, we don't know if the programs, the kids will be in school, and maybe a time where we would be able to get away with cutting these where we wouldn't otherwise. With few exceptions, the town departments and special districts were all kept at a flat, at zeros. And then the budget was even made more difficult by the fact that our contract with our CSEA expires at the end of this year. And I cannot thank the CSEA and the employees for all they did throughout the pandemic. They were great. They were here. They were doing their job. We really need to make some tough choices and look at some structural changes to find additional savings. But we can't use it for budgeting purposes because we don't know what it's going to be. So we did make some other changes just to try to find savings wherever we could. We are going to, but Carmel in my office is going to take over as a purchasing, kind of the sole source purchasing agent for the town. So all office supplies and everything will go through her, so there's more accountability and kind of keeping track of what's being purchased through the town. We reduced the budget line for many of the part-timers, and we reduced schools and conferences to basically only for what's necessary for an employee for their license or to do their job. So the reality is we really can't go to the taxpayers for any more. They're suffering financially due to the pandemic, so we have some tough choices to make. I think I started it. I know you boys will have fun taking a closer look at it, but you boys.
I can't believe
Is that
I can't believe you
sexist?
said that.
You should be thanking me. I called you boys. Anyway, and so that I will just present you all have copies of the budget, and I'm sure we'll be speaking. So anyway, you want me to bring Jeff up, and you want to ask any
I
questions?
just
for
got Jeff on the Tappan hydrants. Are we taking them over? Is this having them being taken over?
No, this does not include that, so.
I think you got to do that, just to be consistent. Every other district, we do their hydrants.
That's a board decision, and we can certainly add them in in the next round
I
of
mean,
the
if
budget.
you add them in, aren't we collecting monies also? It's just,
No, we won't collect monies for it. We pay for it, but we won't collect it in the additional monies for it, no. It's not a pass-through.
it's not a pass-through? I
No.
still think you need to do it, though. I mean, what districts do we collect for right now?
Just a second. We collect for Blauvelt, Palisades, Pearl River, Sparkill, Upper Grandview, and St. Dominic.
All right, can you run the numbers with that and see what the budget looks like then? And then we'll have to go through it.
Do you have a contact of who I should?
Tom
to-
Quinn,
So I need to know how many hydrants there are there.
let me see, I'll tell you right now. 178 fire hydrants in the Tappan Fire District. At $1,400 per hydrant.
So does their budget go down? Taxpayers are saving?
No, it's just that when they do their budgeting, if they're off by a little, they're over the cap, whereas if we take it over, it doesn't affect our budget as much.
But if they are saving all that money,
Well, that's why I want Jeff to talk to Tom. I mean, Tom can go through it a lot better than I can, but
Okay.
they've come to us about 4 or 5 times, and all the other fire districts, well, almost all of them, we do it for them, so, you know.
That 1,400 per hydrant sounds high, Tom.
Well, this is the text that I got, so
Yeah.
talk to Tom Quinn, because he's the one who has all the numbers. I'm just telling you,
Yep. Okay.
you know, I've been talking to him for the last 6 months on this.
Okay.
And, Teresa, what did we budget for the, what did we budget for the pool with South Orange?
We cut that in half.
Okay. Might be more than half.
Yeah, might be. But we started at half. We did a half with a couple things, but anyway. Anybody else? Questions of Jeff or? No? Nope. Okay. Okay, so then we're going to go on to workshop, the agenda items. We have the first is to set a public hearing for the one-year contract for the Blauvelt Fire Protection District for October 6th. The next one again is October 6th. One-year contract with the Orangetown Library District. Set the public hearing date for October 20th for the preliminary budget. Next one, town supervisor send the budget distributed and received, which we kind of already have done, but. Number 7, appointing Matt Lenahan, information and equipment specialist. Again, this is, I think he passed the test and now it's making him, no change in his salary, just making it permanent. Number 8 is basically accepting a performance bond on a subdivision from a property at 31 Plaza Mountain Road. Number 9 is settling a claim. This was, I think one of our trees fell on somebody's property and fence and stuff, whatever, so we're settling a claim for $4,400. Number 10 is releasing some money we're holding for a subdivision, some kind of a holding, that's $10,000. Number 11 is surplusing equipment from the highway department. 12, we have designation of the installing a memorial sign for Kings Highway on Tapan, Reverend John Dwyer Drive. Paul's going to speak to that when we get to it. Number 13, accepting a $14,000 grant for police traffic services program. This is traffic safety. We have lots of complaints about traffic in this town, so I don't know that 14,000 is going to make a dent in anything, but we have a lot of complaints about speeding and trucks, and it's constant. So I know Allison in my office is working with the traffic advisory board to try and address some of them, but we need more than 14,000, I think. Number 14, the Traffic Advisory Board approve installation of stop sign. It's a 6-month regulation. This is at the top of Orangeburg Road and Old Middletown Road. That wacky change, wacky turn,
That's on the hill.
coming up. So it's going to be a two-way stop. So it's coming up, you stop, and where the stop sign is. They wouldn't do a 3 because I think it's going to back up.
Well, originally, they wouldn't put a stop sign there because the buses were coming
Right, but they
out.
don't use it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, I just drove by there the other day. People don't know who's supposed to go. They stop, they're looking
No,
around.
somebody went shooting through the stop sign.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I know. So anyway, I think it's going to work. I think that's going to work, but anyway.
6-month.
6-month trial, right. Number 15th is basically another grant for our Justice Court Assistance Program. Then we have 16 and 17, 2 benches. This is a nice thing that we're doing now. We have one memorial bench for Veterans Park and it's going to say, in memory of my best friend David Allison, 88 miles per hour. And then the next one's at the rail trail, which is going to say, in memory of Jenna Benz. Number 18 is another contract. This is, we did an RFP for the Elgin Sweeper truck, combination truck. This is bonded, but basically it's,
Well, it's a piggyback on,
we piggybacked on it?
yeah, onto a Sourcewell.
Okay, but it is bonded, right? This is the, yeah.
Correct.
Well, that's, when you piggyback, that technically is, right.
Yes.
Okay, Town Clerk's Office, we're going to accept and receive and file some documents, agreement with Johnson Controls for HVAC and mechanical services, some Town Board meeting for minutes for certain meetings, agreements with Brown and Weinraub for legislative and regulatory representation, and our lease agreement with OVESC, which is the volunteer housing. And then we will do the audits. Okay, so can I get a motion to open the public comment?
Moved.
Tom Divany moved, second.
Second.
Dennis Troy, second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we're going to start with Norman Schaefer from Spark Hill.
Microphone? You want the microphone?
This is about people needing food, okay? My name is Norman Schaefer. I live at 101 Rockland Road in Spark Hill. I lived there for 42 years. I'm disabled and a veteran. I have attempted to speak to and possibly meet with the town supervisor, calling every day for a week without success. I told her that I felt that she had the best gatekeeper I have ever heard of, because she knows how to avoid people. Living in this town for 42 years, I have always been in a position to meet with the various town supervisors. I've met them all. I have been to the office. I've exchanged ideas with them. I've made suggestions. I don't understand why I couldn't meet with the town supervisor. There are some possibilities. My guesswork is that it's related to the fact that I'm seeking to resolve the problem of people who have not gotten enough food in Orangetown. It happens that there is more than enough, I have more than enough food, and I have reason to be pleased about that, although I am 89 years old. I'm getting Meals on Wheels. The fact that I'm getting the Meals on Wheels is why I have more than enough food myself, because I have people I know bringing in food for me in addition to the Meals on Wheels. It seems to me that because I have more than enough, I wanted to give food to other people. There's a good place in Nanuet called People to People. And unfortunately, you have to deliver the food to them. I can't do that. I'm physically unable to go to Nanuet and deliver food, the excess food that I have. I've asked for help from the people in Orangetown, and they did actually have 2 volunteers help me deliver food. They made 2 deliveries each, and then they quit. Perhaps the reason that the food was not being distributed is because the people that gave me help were concerned about the problem of the food.
Mr. Schaefer, we have a 3-minute rule. I'm not going to cut you off. You can finish, but just if you could finish.
The food being kosher. Okay? If I am unable to finish this, I will give you my written statement, which I would like to have part of the record.
That's fine.
Perhaps there's a reason that people who need food won't care that the food is kosher. There are many people in Orangetown who make no difference to them. Perhaps the town supervisor would be able to speak to this issue as to how I could deal with it. I think that I'm in a position to offer the food, give help to the town, but unfortunately and sadly, the situation make it unable for me to get the audience and possible conversation with the town supervisor. So therefore, I am unable to help in the situation where I can help give food that is desperately needed. The town needs to pay attention to that. There are
Thank you,
people in
Mr.
this
Schaefer. We'll
town-
take your written statement, but we
People
have
in
to.
this town need food. Nobody talks about it, but it needs to be discussed. And the town needs to do something, even if it's informal. I was told by somebody in the town that this is not part of their responsibility.
Mr. Schaefer, it's been 3 minutes. I will just say this. We, throughout the pandemic, were working tirelessly to get people food. It is not our responsibility to pick up food from you and get it to other people. We contacted Meals on Wheels. You left food at my door. You know, we were making sure people got food. We were not out to pick up, and as you said, we had 2 volunteers that went to work for you that said that they were asked to do things they weren't signing up to do. So,
Yes, it
again,
was
you
good that
finished
the
your 3 minutes,
volunteers
please,
did
you
it.
could give us your statement. I appreciate that you have too much food, but you should really address it with Meals on Wheels. I mean, the town of Orangetown's not gonna start delivering food that is excess. I don't know if we can legally do it. I mean, it's. Thank you. We'll take your statement if you want to leave it here with the clerk. Next, we have Kathy Vanderlin. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Oh, I see. Vanessa Lapins? I'm just going to remind everybody, if you just wouldn't mind just stating, you know, where you're from in the town, and again, try to keep it to the 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Vanessa Lapins. I live in Blauvelt. 2 properties, 125 and 155 South Greenbush Road, are to be combined into one mega complex. The owner-developer will demolish an existing single-story office building which is connected to an existing warehouse at 125 Greenbush and construct a new 415,000 square foot warehouse with an additional 128,000 square feet at 155 South Greenbush, totaling 553,000 square feet. 56 open loading docks capable of supporting hundreds of trucks on a daily basis. That is 2 football fields, 600 feet long, with 40-foot high walls totaling 19.4 million cubic square feet, fully automated high-volume warehouse. The site is in an LI zone on the east side of South Greenbush, bordering on this country road designated a Rockland County road. This warehouse complex is designed for 24/7 operation, ensuring increased traffic, congestion, noise, and pollution to the community. This property is adjacent to the Sparkill Creek, a tributary to the Hudson River. The intersection at South Greenbush and Mountain View and Route 303 cannot accommodate the turning of 18-wheelers, creating a danger to motorists. There's many photographs and videos of this today. Trucks are directed via Google Maps over Clausland Mountain on roads that prohibit truck traffic, and accidents or near accidents are common. These roads are shared with bikers, pedestrians, and school buses. While zoned for light industrial, this is a residential neighborhood in a residential town and is completely inappropriate for the center of Orangetown. There are numerous abandoned facilities on 303, Bradley Park, and now at the Palisades Center. Orangetown has already welcomed an Amazon distribution center in Bradley Park, and I have to say that they were very easy to work with and made all of the concessions that we ask, and so they've been a welcome partner. But Orangetown does not want another high-volume warehouse. As of 9/22, we have over 1,600 signatories against this project on our change.org position. Now, it's not before you guys tonight, it's before the planning board, but we wanted you to be in the loop and pay attention to this project, that I haven't really met anyone that wants it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Kathy Vanderlin.
Is it the address or just the town you're from?
I'm sorry?
Is it your address as well?
No,
Oh,
just,
okay.
yeah, just kind of Hamlet or wherever you
All
are.
right, I'm Kathy Vanderlin, Pearl River, New York. Also, just want to comment on the possible Greenbush development. When my family moved here in the 60s, I don't think they moved here because they wanted high-density warehouses or housing or anything. They moved here for the beauty of Rockland County. Also didn't want to become the 6th borough of New York. That's my concern. This would not benefit anybody in the community right now. It's not in an area that's really zoned for commercial traffic, additional trucks, and we already have the problem with Google directing trucks over Clausland Mountain. And I'm wondering if that's ever going to be addressed. Has the town reached out to Google or anything like that? So I hope we can be mindful before we approve something like this.
Thank
That's
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Rob, what's the project they're referring to?
There's I'm not sure of the name, but it's over on Greenbush Road there.
Is that by the Nice Pack? Is it right by Nice Pack?
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Liz Dudley.
Hello, Liz Dudley, Orangeburg, New York. I'm actually going to be a neighbor of this proposed project, and I'm here to voice my opposition and disgust of this proposed plan. This is a 2-plot parcel that they're trying to shoehorn a gigantic warehouse into on this idyllic little street that is runs parallel to 303. We do have a lot of warehouses on 303. That's where they should go. They should not be having to come down South Greenbush to access this giant warehouse. Our road has been noted for safe passage of bicycles. We actually, as you all know, put in the bike lane to connect the 2 green bushes. The proposed warehouse wants to operate 24/7. Right now, I've been emailing the board. I know I've emailed you several times, actually probably for 3 or 4 years, with all the truck traffic that is going down Greenbush. I can't get an answer from our town. I can't get an answer from the county, and it's just running circles. And this is with the current landscape of having a warehouse down the block from us. We are good neighbors. PDI has been good neighbors. I've worked with PDI, but they still can't get the trucks to stop. So I would really like it if the town take into consideration finding real solutions, automated solutions, not to bother the police, to make sure that these 18-wheelers are not going down, especially during bus pickup time. Just to give you an idea of how big this is, this project would require, under our town code, 1,805 parking spots. Do we have any other property in our town with that many parking spots? I think you would be hard pressed to find it.
Maybe 2.
This project wants to put in 603, and I bet you can understand why. Because they want to use the plot to build as big a building with the least amount of parking. So where are those trucks going to go? And they want 56 loading docks. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is not the place for it. It's not zoned correctly for it. They need variances. We've spent a lot of time documenting all the issues that we feel come with this gargantuan project, and I'm going to email it to the board afterwards, in addition to emailing over the petition where no one wants this. This is not going to bring a lot of jobs to our town. This isn't going to bring a lot of workers to eat at our restaurants. This is going to bring a lot of trucks, and that's it. And a terrible landscape. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Jordan Baker Kilner.
Hi, my name is Jordan Baker Kellner. I'm a resident of Tapan, and I just want to add my opposition to the expansion of the warehouse on Greenbush Road. And I'm just going to be very brief and say that the Army Corps of Engineers has jurisdiction, and the agency does not appear to have been notified per county planning's comments.
Thank you. And Kevin Kilner.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, Supervisor. My name is Kevin Kilner. I'm a longtime member of the Spark Hill Watershed Alliance, along with Larry Seaman, Larry Vale, and others. I'm just going to read this real quickly. We have deep concerns about this. The Spark Hill Creek is right there. I was doing testing there today, actually, water sampling. New York State's Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR, requires all state and local government agencies to consider environmental impacts equally with social and economic factors during discretionary decision-making. One report was created for each property. Thus, it appears to be intentionally split up, which is gaming the system so that the owner-developer can get a building permit without a proper SEQRA, including the future use, which is critical, the future use. This is a concern not just for us as immediate neighbors and for groups like Spark Hill Watershed, but for the town, the county, and the state's interests in general. Thus, there should be one report, and we are requesting the long form, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara Meyer.
Thank you. I'm Barbara Meyer from Palisades. We, like the rest of you, want to see sensible development happening here, where it's going to bring in money, where it's going to bring in people. And we're tired, we don't want to be treated like a dumping ground from outsiders coming in and trying to make this into a Flushing or a Brooklyn or Astoria, because that's not why any of us live here. We like our green space, we want to see more development coming in, and look, we knew what Amazon was about, and they are great partners, and we know exactly what they're going to be doing. We don't know what they're doing with this big space. That kind of space, what is it for, munitions, airplane hangar? We don't know. So we'll be in the dark, and then it could be too late. So we'll hope you agree.
Thank you. We got that. Susan Nemesdy?
Susan Nemesdy, Palisades. I also am in support of what everyone's saying here about the mega warehouse. I just have a few comments. There's plenty of existing commercial properties along the 303 corridor that can accommodate the warehouse needs this proposal is requesting without a building of this massive size. I agree 303 should be utilized as a commercial corridor, but it should be done in a thoughtful, well-planned manner. Turning 303 into a monster warehouse district without planning or any thought to the future of the corridor is a recipe for disaster. This should be the job of the planning board and the economic development coordinator. Their job should be to work together to maintain an inventory of available properties for businesses to occupy and try to match those to available spaces and coordinate business development, major commercial corridor planning, and merchant support. Those two together should be working to, for example, in this case, this building is partially unoccupied, and they're just looking to add more warehouse space. Instead of building one monster building somewhere, maybe the planning board and the coordinator could work together to find other properties for this company and build smaller warehouses or whatever elsewhere, rather than all in one big place.
Thank you. Okay, I think Craig and Elise already spoke. Okay. Is there anybody else here who didn't sign up that'd like to speak? Barbara?
Hi, my name is Barbara DeLo, and I'm from Blauvelt. First, I wanted to follow up on my comments the last meeting as to whether there is about senior citizens, and wondered if there's any existing board or department within the town that might be appropriate for considering the needs of the frail seniors, since the Senior Citizens Advisory Board cannot serve that purpose. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I'm concerned about the type of senior housing seeking to become part of our community, or at least I wanted to share with the board that my neighbors, it's not appropriate for any of them, and I know Teresa Kenny expressed, the supervisor expressed the fact that we don't want our seniors to have to leave the area. But if you're putting in senior housing or considering senior housing that, like on Veterans Parkway, where it's $7,000 a month, or proposals like the Gatto Lane proposal, which was $700,000, I know no one in my community can, that would be helpful to. They would still have to move away. So that's basically it. I'm speaking up on behalf of my elderly and frail neighbors, and I wondered, you know, if you guys could address those points. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, the gentleman, yep. I was going to say the gentleman with the mask, but that didn't really help.
Hello, members of the town board. My name is Kevin Garrison. I'm a resident of Pearl River. Apologize, I didn't sign up on the list on time. I know I'm supposed to speak for 3 minutes on an issue. I have several issues I wanted to mention. If I could just read through them, there's 6 of them. It'd probably take 4 minutes, 5 minutes to go through.
You
if
got
that's okay.
3. Sorry.
And I have some pictures if I can give them to you to show you when I'm done reading.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we'll take your written comments too if you want when you're done. But
This is more like chicken scratch and halfway type stuff, so sorry about that. One of the issues, the first one I'd like to talk about is the possibility of the village of South Nyack becoming part of Orangetown. I know it's been in the papers in the last few weeks. I just want to read through the list of things to think about, or things I've been thinking about. Right now, the group involved has enough signatures to get the matter to a referendum vote. The group moved very quickly to do that, quicker than a lot of people thought they'd be able to. If South Nyack is successful, what will that mean for the town of Orangetown taxpayers? Are we obligated to accept them into the town of Orangetown if they were successful? What will become of any debt South Nyack has right now? What will be needed to accommodate South Nyack becoming part of Orangetown? I spoke with the Highway Department, and they have not had any requests to evaluate the needs of the Highway Department in regards to expanding their territory. The village of South Nyack has 9 miles center line of road, which ends up being 18 if you go back and forth on the roads, and about 3,500 residents right now. So if South Nyack were to become part of Orangetown, it's a lot more leaves to pick up, a lot more brush, a lot more maintenance of streets, catch basins, and any associated equipment on the highways and roadways there. They maintain their own traffic lights there. I don't know if Orangetown does their own traffic light maintenance. In merging with Orangetown, the Highway Department said they would need to do a study to determine what the needs would be for them. What would that kind of a study cost? How long would that take? In regards to South Nyack, I also emailed the Park Department asking about current manpower and what might be needed if South Nyack were to succeed. I received a response back from the Park Superintendent, and he says that as of right now, they have 7 full-time employees and employ between 1 and 3 seasonal employees. He said the town would need to study to determine how South Nyack becoming part of Orangetown would affect their workload and their staffing. Again, another study and possibly another cost. South Nyack has 1 mile bike trail. They have basketball courts, baseball field, bathroom structure, playground equipment. The Highway Department right now maintains all the streets and the parks. They don't have their own parks department. Right now it takes 2 guys, 1 full day to do all the mowing along the park trail and associated parks, not including any weed whacking or additional maintenance like hedges and weeding and things of that nature. And for the most part, that gets done once a week. All right. Surely, if South Nyack were to be successful, this would place a burden on both the Highway Department as well as the Park Department. What will become of the police officers working for South Nyack and the Grandview Police Department? Will Orangetown need more police officers and associated equipment for them, like cars, vests, training, and equipment? These are some of the obvious concerns if South Nyack were to succeed. A bigger issue with the village of South Nyack right now is the sale of the Nyack College property. It's about 100 acres. It's being looked at right now by the Attorney General to approve the sale of that to a group from Muncie or Rampo, I'm not sure where. If you've been paying attention to this in the papers, it seems like the village of South Nyack is not very transparent with who's involved with the sale, who's involved with studying the site to be developed.
Mr. Garrison, I'm going to have to just cut you off because we try to keep to the 3 minutes, otherwise everybody wants some extra time.
That's enough on
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if you want to send us emails, you can certainly send us emails. You had some photos you wanted, did you want to share them with
Yeah,
us?
that's on something else. The other 3 things or 4 things are very small items. That was the longest one, if I could just read them quickly.
Real quick.
Okay. The project improvements for Middletown Road in Pearl River. What is the status of that project? This is sidewalks, traffic lights, safety concerns there. Was there a grant awarded for the project? If so, how much was awarded? Is that, if there was a grant awarded, are the funds still available given the state of the finances in New York State? Does it include sidewalks on Holt Drive toward the high school? If that's not part of the project, can that be looked at in the future? The solar field on Middletown Road and Route 304, there's a bunch of dead trees there. I spoke to Monolith Solar out of Albany. They're the ones that did the installation of that project. They actually put the trees in because the prior board here, supervisor, asked them to put the trees in. They weren't going to put any trees in there, believe it or not. They just came and did
I'm going to have to cut you off. It's just not fair to other speakers.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, no.
These pictures are for something I didn't get to talk about. I could email you.
You can certainly email us, or we'll be back here in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to speak that hasn't had a chance to speak?
I think everyone has spoken.
Everyone has spoken. Okay.
Motion to close public portion.
We have a motion from Mr. Divany to close the public portion. I have a second. Paul Valentine seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay, does anybody want to say anything? Jane, could you come in for a sec? I just want to, you want to talk?
Is this on?
You should be on. Tap it, tap it. Tap it, see if it works.
It's on.
It's a stupid thing off. Hold on, Jay. I'd like to put an advertisement in for our senior housing. The town has 98 units of senior housing at Courtwood Village. A lot of people don't realize that we have a senior housing complex that's maintained by the Orangetown Housing Authority. And the rents there are $1,050 a month. The units are small. They're one-bedroom apartments. But it's a thing where it's, in terms of people going in there, they can't have a lot of money. It's, I've got the annual income maybe is somewhere around 70,000. So there is senior housing that is available. You know, in terms of the places on, you talk about veterans, the club, I don't know, that's somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 a month. Brightview is assisted living. You mentioned 7,000 a month. 7,000 a month is, my understanding, is if you needed all the medical services that are available there, they have independent living, they have assisted living, and then they have people who need more care than that. I don't know the exact price ranges, but it varies from one to the other. I know some people who are there on Brightview, right by the Little League field, that are very happy there. Now, again, in terms of the numbers and how much they are, I would recommend calling them and finding out exactly what the price range is. That's it.
Yeah, I'd like to add on to that. And Thorpe Village is another more affordable option in Orangetown. And that includes a couple of meals a day, but Thorpe Village is pretty affordable.
Let me go back to Thorpe. Tom, excellent point. Thorpe Village is HUD housing.
3 minutes.
It's run by... That's okay, I can do that. Thorpe Village is run by the Spark Hill Dominican nuns. They do a tremendous job there. The ironic thing is, a lot of those nuns running the place are a lot older than the people that they have coming in there as tenants. But it is HUD housing. You got to get on the list. So, Barbara, I would recommend anybody that you have, if you're saying that the Thorpe Village has elevator apartments, all right? I'm sorry, elevator building. And if people really need more aid than that, Dowling is also run by the Spark Hill Dominicans. And again, they also have sliding scale in terms of what you pay based on what you can afford to pay. So I've heard that Orangetown doesn't have things. We have them. At times, we don't do a good enough job of promoting them. So thank you for bringing it up.
And then just to add to that, yeah, the point by the golf course is not, I wouldn't say it's affordable housing, it's high-end housing, but the people that own that property decided this is the kind of housing we want to put in there, this is the model we want to go, and they've been very successful. We do have affordable housing, as Dennis said, but we have developers that come in and they're going to do the projects that they look at that think, you know, will be successful, and the Point has been very successful. The Hollows has been relatively successful. So these are projects that, you know, developers are going to develop what they think they can make. As far as the blow-up property, I'm glad you came out because it hasn't really been advertised as much as it should, a building of this size.
I was just going to ask Jane to speak about it.
Yeah, I'll finish.
Okay.
A building of that size.
I don't really know what it is.
But again, I think some of you realize that it's good to come out and be seen on TV and let people know what's going on. But this is going to be in front of the planning board, so, you know, we can talk to members of the planning board and see what's going on. But I hope that if you're against this project, and you can send me anything you have on it, but also make sure that you send in this information and your opposition to the planning board, who are the ones who are going to have the ultimate decision-making on this. And then That's about it.
I was just gonna ask Jane.
Jane.
Oh, actually, I do want to talk about South Nyack. Thank you, guys. South Nyack, there was a lot of questions. I mean, South Nyack, they're going to have a referendum. The only people that will vote in it is the people that live in South Nyack. If the referendum passes, then it's going to be a meeting between the town and the village of South Nyack, and there's going to be a lot of things discussed, like, what about their debt? They got to pay it off. We're not assuming South Nyack debt. We're also going to have to discuss people that work for the village of South Nyack. If we merge, economies of scale, we're not going to have to take on all the people that work at the village of South Nyack if it doesn't work into the town budget and the needs that the town has. So just because they vote on the referendum to become part of the town of Orangetown and fold the village doesn't tie the town's hands. There's going to be negotiations, and that's going to take a while. And we're going to have to look at their police force, their building department, their workers, and decide which ones we're going to take. And there's going to be a lot of negotiation going on. So it's going to be a lengthy process, and one that we'll make sure that everyone in the town of Orangetown knows what's going on as it goes on.
Jane, I just wanted to ask about this project because, I heard there was, building going in, but now this sounds like it's 2 lots and big buildings and 56.
Right.
What the hell are they building?
So this application first came before the planning board, I believe it was in 2018, and they have gone back and forth and made numerous changes to the plans and have met with the neighbors over, since that time. They did do a traffic study, and prior to the pandemic, there was going to be another traffic study done at the request of the planning board. However, the pandemic obviously changed that. So to do a traffic study right now would not help the matter. So what the planning board did is have the option of hiring an independent consultant to analyze and review the traffic studies that were already done. So tomorrow night, that consultant is making their presentation to the planning board. It's not that they're going to vote and say, yes, you can build this building now. This is to review the findings of the special consultant. And that is what's going on tomorrow night. It is 2 buildings. They are 2 sites in the same ownership, but they are separate tax lots. So when an application comes in, they have to come in as separate applications. They're always reviewed together. They go through the process together. Similar to the Amazon project, they had 2 sites. It's 2 separate tax lots. So the reviews have to go to each tax lot. And so that's where we're at. So
Are they
again,
being joined together as one building?
no, they're not one building. The remaining is 2 separate lots and 2 separate buildings.
Is that meeting tomorrow night televised?
Yes, it is.
What types of variances are they going for?
I don't want to speak to the variances because I don't recall, because it was over a year ago that those variances were reviewed, and I do believe they reduced them upon meeting with the neighbors. Again, the focus has been on the traffic study, and obviously their application has been held up as well because of the pandemic. It's been sitting there. So this was a way to keep the process moving, get the reviews done. Again, the planning board hired an independent traffic consultant to review the traffic reports that were already done, and that's the presentation for tomorrow night.
It's not on TV, right? It's not on cable.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's live. It's not televised like this meeting is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but they can dial in, and it has been advertised, the information.
Oh, so it's virtual?
Sorry, I misunderstood you.
Virtual, yeah.
Yes, it's virtual, which all the planning board meetings have been since this happened back in May. And the link is on the website, the town website, and so are the documents. And so are the latest findings of the traffic consultant.
When are the land use boards going live?
ZBA went already.
Yeah, I don't know.
ZBA did.
That's up to the chairman makes that decision, so.
Yeah, we'll
It's
talk.
about time for him to make that decision.
It's time to go live.
Again,
We've been live since June.
not my decision to make, Tom, so.
No, I get it. I don't get it.
even if it was moved here rather than down in Greenbush.
Again, this meeting, prior to the pandemic, packed about 80 people into our downstairs, the building down there. So, it wouldn't be possible even in this facility at this point.
It's possible. You
So,
just have, you just, same as restaurants, you limit the number of people.
Yeah, well, again, not everyone could be in the room. So with the virtual meetings, everybody is there and viewing it. So we have been very successful with the planning board with these applications. But again, the decision is up to the board, not.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it should go forward without the people being able to attend and speak their mind in front of people.
Again, nothing's going forward. It's a presentation tomorrow night from the consultant to the board.
Okay.
And yeah, there's multiple processes still left with this project.
I think we gotta get the chairman in here from the planning board. You can get 50 people in here. I'm looking at the seats right now. There's 50 people. I mean, there's 50 seats here that you could get in here. So.
No, you can have discussion. I think there's some practical difficulties too. You have all the applicants, they have their professionals, you have 7 members of the board, so right here you have 5. What I mean? It does get tight quickly, so I'll just point that out. And people frankly, a lot more people are kind of tuning in than may otherwise go. So it's kind of a mix, but it's definitely worth exploring. ZBA has already started, but it's definitely worth exploring.
The ZBA can do it, the planning board can do it, let's be honest.
There's been one meeting of the ZBA.
But the ZBA chairman said from the get-go, let's have live meetings.
Okay, again, it's up to the planning board chairman,
I know,
obviously, but
it's not
our
a
meetings, Tom, are a lot larger. And as Rob just said, just the 7 planning board members and the 3 town employees that are required to attend. There are 10 people. That's without the applicants, which are normally at least 3 people, is they have their attorney, they have their engineer and/or architect, a traffic consultant in this case. I mean, the last time this project came before, I think there was 6 of them. And again, that was prior, to the pandemic. I think their meeting was back in February, if I remember. It might have been March, but.
You could put people down, you could space them out. I mean, if you're gonna have.
Okay, we'll continue this.
It's not for us to discuss, it's for us to discuss with the planning board chair and the planning board member.
But those were the concerns that they've had.
Right.
Well, that's.
I just wanted, Jim, can you come up for a second? Just want to answer the question about the Middletown Road. I know we're going out to bid again, just if we can get an update.
Yes, we plan on going out to bid in September. However, we do not have the authorization from DOT yet. They have to agree with us that we should go out to bid again, based on, is it a $1.9 million grant that we have. The last lowest price came in at $4.5 million, which is happening all over the Hudson Valley, all over these projects. So what we've been talking to the DOT about is sizing down the project, certainly not adding anything to the project. We expect to get answer before the end of September about if that's going to be acceptable and can we put that out. We've had preliminary discussions, and it seems to them that they understand that unless the town can come up with the extra $2 million, they only have 1.9. We're researching some other areas to try and get more funding, but that's doesn't seem feasible. There is not a lot of money around. So if we're going to get anything built, we're probably going to have to do less than what the original was. So basically, we're looking at now a proposal taking us up as far as Brightwood. And then the other portion would have to come at another time.
And not going down Holt in terms of site.
No, that was never part of the project.
That was a question.
No, there's certainly, all the projects, I mean, our estimates originally were 1.5 million, 1.7 million. First time we went out, it came in at 5.4 million. And that just seems to be what's going on all over, even though we thought, after COVID or at the end of it, the contractors would be looking for work. Everybody seems to be in the same boat. They've got as much work as they want to do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, everybody good? Okay, so, going on to item number 3. Can I get a motion to set the date for a public hearing of October 6th for the one-year contract on the Fire Protection District contract?
Yeah.
Tom Divany moved. Can I get a second? Jerry Batari, see a little hand down there, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion to set the date again for October 6th at 7:35 for a one-year contract for the Orangetown Library District? Dennis Troy moved it. Tom Divany seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion to set the public hearing date for October 20th at 7:15 for the preliminary budget? Tom Divany, second. Dennis Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so can I get a motion basically to accept and file the supervisor's tentative budget? Tom Divany, second. Paul Valentine?
okay.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, can I get a motion to appoint Matt Lenahan to a position of information services and equipment specialist, permanent? Okay, Dennis Troy moved it. Paul Valentine seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, get a motion to accept the performance bond for Sambretto subdivision, to accept the bond in the amount of $65,232.
Move.
Tom Divany moved. Jerry Batari second. All in favor? Aye. Can I motion to settle a claim with Louis and Kerry Liggio in the amount of $4,450. Dennis Troy moved it. Second.
Yes.
Paul Valentine second. All in favor? Aye. Get a motion to release some money held in escrow pending filing of a required easement from the Maloneys at 60 Fisher Avenue. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Dennis Troy moved. Jerry Batari second. All in favor? Okay, can I get a motion to surplus equipment from the Highway Department as listed in the resolution? Okay, Tom Divany moved. I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Okay, the next one we have is a motion on Paul. You want us to speak first or after we vote on it? Want us to vote first?
I'll second it.
Paul made the motion, Dennis seconded.
I'm going to read the proclamation.
Yep.
This is a resolution by the town board to dedicate one of the town highways in name of Reverend John F. Dwyer. Whereas Reverend John F. Dwyer was ordained in 1956 before joining the U.S. Air Force as a chaplain and served overseas in Turkey, Okinawa, Germany, the Philippines, and England, as well as 8 stateside bases. And whereas after retiring from the Air Force in 1986 as a full colonel, he was assigned to Our Lady of Sacred Heart Parish in Tapan and became pastor there in June of 1990. And whereas in his 25 years at Sacred Heart, Reverend John F. Dwyer built a new church and rectory while inviting the priests to the oratory of Philip Neri, St. Philip Neri, to become an integral part of the parish, which ensued and continued the vitality not only of Our Lady of Sacred Heart, but also of St. John's in Piermont, St. Anne's in Nyack, St. Paul's in Valley Cottage/Congers, and whereas Reverend John F. Dwyer entered eternal life on January 12, 2020, and whereas on September 22nd of September 2020, the town board designated a town roadway in memory of Reverend John F. Dwyer for a term of 5 years to honor this deceased with the intentions of installing a nearby memorial street sign to signify this dedication. Now, therefore, it be resolved that Teresa Kenny, supervisor of the town of Orangetown, on September 22nd,
2020, on behalf of the town board, in honor of the deceased, Kings Highway between Route 303 and Greenbush Road is designated as Reverend John F. Dwyer Drive. The aforementioned designee will expire September of 2025. So I'm sure in the future there will be a dedication ceremony, and this will be read again.
Okay, so we had Paul Valentine made the motion, Dennis Troy seconded it, all in favor?
Aye.
You can renew that in 5 years.
Okay. Can I get a motion to accept $14,000 grant for a police traffic services program, Governor's Traffic Safety Committee?
Move.
Okay, Tom Divany, second. Jerry Batari, all in favor? Okay, approve the installation of a stop sign, 6-month police regulation, Orange Road. I'm going to make that motion. I have a second.
I'll second it. Hope it makes it safer.
What's the matter? It has to make it, okay. So that was it. So I moved it, Dennis, was second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, can I get a motion to authorize for a grant application for the Justice Corps for up to $30,000? Jerry Batari beat you. Tom Divany second. All in favor? Aye. Should we combine 16 and 17?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna,
Motion to combine 16 and 17.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Did we just vote on them, or did you just combine them?
You know what that's from, man.
We just combined them.
We just combined them.
Now we gotta vote on it.
Okay, so now we got to vote.
did we say?
It's more work than just voting on them separately then. Okay, so we got a resolution to basically accept a donation of Memorial Bench at Veterans Parkway, Veterans Memorial Park, and one at the JBC Rail Trail with those 2 engravements. Can I get a motion?
I'll second. I'll make the motion.
Paul Valentine moved. Tom Divany seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the contract with the Federal Signal Corp for the combination truck? I know. Tom Divany moved.
I'll second.
Dennis Troy seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I thought Paul was going to oppose it. Okay, a motion to accept, receive, and file documents in the town clerk's office as identified. Can I get a motion? Tom Divany, second. I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so, okay. On the audit. Do we have to take a motion to open the audit?
Motion to open the audit.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Guess that was a yes.
Okay, the audit for tonight's meeting consists of 3 warrants for a total of $1.9 million. First warrant had 44 vouchers for $269,000. Items of interest, 1 and 2, the applied golf contracts. Number 4, the comptroller, $28,000 for justice fines. Second warrant had 18 vouchers for $83,000. Number 6, Department of Civil Service, $738,000 for healthcare benefits. The third warrant had 176 vouchers for $696,000. Items of interest, number 2, Capasso, $68,000 for recycling. Number 9, Lothrop, $274,000 for the town hall project. Number 11, Seal Coat, $23,000 for Parks crack seal. Number 12, She International, $27,000 for firewall protection. Number 13, Sport Tech Acrylics, $37,000 for Parks Court repairs. That's bonded money. And number 17, Virtuit Systems, $26,000 for IT servers. Any questions on the audit?
I have a question for you. The Michael Cotter, which I don't know if you can answer this or not, maybe Jane can. Do you know what the time period, that's number 3 on the third warrant, what the time period that covered for the $16,225?
I do not know that. That is a pass-through, though?
I know, yeah, no, I know it's a pass. I'm just trying to figure out the time period. I
Yeah.
don't know. Okay. Just when you get a chance, if you can find out what that time period is.
Okay, will do.
That's the guy that does the, all right, moved on. Tom, we got to move on the audit. Do I have a second? Okay, Dennis Troy, second. All in favor? Aye. We do have an executive. We're going to call Mike Zarin. We're going to call Mike Zarin. So we do have an executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, lease of real property. when it might publicly affect the value. So we are going to an executive session. There will not be any votes when we come out. So I'm just going to read the adjournments now that we're going to be adjourning in memory of. We have Andrew Albanese, a resident of Pearl River, Daniel Barry, a former resident of Pearl River, Patricia Dolan, former resident of Pearl River, Rita Freud, a resident of Pearl River, Phyllis Romano, a resident of Pearl River, Diane Saunders, a resident of Pearl River, Helene M. Smith, a resident of Pearl River, and we did Ruth Bader Ginsburg, U.S. Supreme Court Justice and an advocate for women's rights. Pearl River took a beating, but, so on that note, we're going to close in memory of these people, and can I get a motion to enter executive session?
Moved. Going down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down, yeah. And Dennis for a second, all in favor? Aye.